there. Welcome to this week's edition of Hot Property. Good to see you. We've got Vince Gaetano from MonsterMortgage.ca joining us a bit later on in the show. First up, Daniel Ellenberg from sellwithdan.com and Royal LePage and Jim Ritchie from Tridel. Gentlemen, great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Only good news coming out this week when it comes to the real estate market. Let's start with condo numbers and information and the sense of what's going on in the condo market, Jim.
Well, our numbers in the industry tend to lag by about a month. So we can talk about April, and April was a banner month. There was about a little over 2,200 new condominium units sold in the Greater Toronto area. It's a great month. That's
a great month, for sure. Now, you're dealing with a couple of things, all builders are right now, a plumbing strike and also a crane strike as well.
Yeah, well, I think the plumber strike, the crane seems to be out of the way. It's the plumber strike that's
that's got to
concern.
affect a builder tremendously, and therefore it affects the customer as well.
Right, and it depends where you are in the cycle in terms of construction, but it definitely will affect people that have yet to move into their new homes. And really the only thing we can do is keep the consumer absolutely informed as to what's going on and how this delay will affect them personally.
What do you have to do in order to keep the customer happy through something like this that is no fault of your own?
It's the big C. It's communication.
Yeah.
You really have to keep, so they have to understand what's happening.
You've won awards for that kind of communication and customer
we
care,
work
that
on it.
sort of thing.
We
so
work on
there
it.
you
Thank
go.
you.
Hard to explain those things to people who are timing everything so that they can get into their units.
It just creates nothing but havoc, and no matter how much that we try to keep the consumer informed, they're still going to be inconvenienced and they're not going to like it. That's the bottom line.
Let's talk about some numbers that came out for the month of May. What are they, Dan?
Well, it looks like we're going to be setting a new record in Toronto in terms of sales on the MLS. For numbers up until May 28th, which is the last number that the Toronto Real Estate Board is reporting, we're just under 9,200 sales.
Oh, these are resale.
That's just resale on the MLS market, independent of new homes and new condo construction and sales. So if you extrapolate that number over the month of May, I think we are going to break the 10,000 mark for the first time in Toronto history.
So what does that mean to me? What does that mean to the average individual who really enjoys watching the comings and goings of the real estate market? What does that mean?
Well, first of all, in terms of the broad selection that's available on the market, I think that's one of the results of this incredible amount of activity. We have such a diversified market in terms of detached homes, semi-detached townhouses, condos, all different forms and shapes, new and resale, so there's something out there for everyone. Because of the large volume, we've also seen prices increasing. It looks like the average sale price in Toronto is about $380,000 now. And that's just a steady progression up and up, at least since we've been doing the show, if not longer.
Now, when you talk about an average price, Jim, that doesn't necessarily mean that all prices are that. It means that some are considerably lower and some are considerably higher to arrive at that price.
Right. In condo, in new high-rise condo, the average is about $310,000, give or take. But those numbers from resale are a barometer for what's happening overall in residential real estate. If the resale market is up, it's a good indication across the board. You're going to see, continued health in our industry, whether it's resale or in the new industry, single family, condo, whatever it happens to be.
And so often when there is resale, if it is the vendor, sometimes they're selling to go into condos. I mean, there's this whole mix and match of everything that's going on, just depending on what stage in life they are at.
Well, I think that's one of the big news stories of really what's happening with this Toronto market, the acceptance of condos as a viable and attractive form of home ownership.
Yeah. Almost 50% of new home sales in the GTA are now condos.
And condos don't necessarily mean a beautiful tall building with lots of floors and several elevators and gorgeous views. They can come in many different forms. What are the different forms that you've seen in this beautiful city of ours?
Well, condos, as you described them, certainly can be that skyscraper. They can be a mid-rise building. They can be low-rise. We even get, of course, hybrids of townhomes, which we in our industry kind of refer to. They may be stacked, that they're on top of each other. They may be back to back. They create a higher density, but they're still condos. So there's quite a wide variety.
A friend who works here on CP24, a relative of his just bought into a project where a particular builder buys up old houses in beautiful areas of the city, really vibrant and exclusive in some cases areas, and they go in and they portion up the home. And sell them off, 7 to 15 different units within a house or two. with a huge price, but they maintain the integrity and the high ceilings and all of the things that you think of with an old house, mixing it in with the modern. And it's quite a novel and interesting, maybe not novel, but interesting way to go buying an apartment, buying a condo.
It really is, and I guess you get the character and the location, which you can't always find in a brand new condo. I was in the north end of the city a couple days ago talking about different forms of condos, and there's a beautiful townhouse project at Bayview and Shepherd. It's a small exclusive project, I think 8 or 9 condos. The actual townhome itself is freehold, but you have condo in terms of the back laneway and the garage. So you have the landscaping and the snow removal included in your maintenance fees. Yeah. Everything else you pay on your own. So. And
Jim, these retrofits that I was mentioning, the old homes that are kind of spruced up inside, maintaining the integrity but also the modern feel, there's a little catch there, too. I know that a brand new building or condo or townhouse, you have access to carry on. What happens in a retrofit?
Well, it's precluded from that warranty coverage. It's an existing structure. They can't possibly warrant that. So that would only be, that would be the biggest caveat in terms of a purchase in that respect, is you really have to do some homework and get some help to determine that this building is in fact intact structurally, and that you're not going to have hidden problems behind the walls. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that there is. And you could find, I'm sure, a beautiful home in that type of scenario, but just be cognizant of that.
Absolutely. And if that is your taste, your desire, and if it's a condo situation, it means that your lawn is mowed for you and everything else that goes with the condo, the maintenance fees, but you're living in a place with some architecture from, a century ago.
It's amazing, and for the right buyer, it's a very attractive form of home ownership.
It just means that there are all sorts of choices out there, and I think that's what I like most about the Toronto real estate market at this stage. Let's talk about ethics when it comes to buying and selling.
Let's do that.
Yeah, because we all read a certain national newspaper today that talked about the word bullying was in it, and it had an interesting twist to it. A person selling had said, 5 days from now we'll be taking offers, and someone walked in with a certified check for the full amount and then some ahead of schedule, and the others who were willing to wait and put in good offers and had home inspections and did all of their financing didn't even have a chance. What do you call that?
Well, as a real estate agent, when you're listing a property for sale, you want to have maximum exposure for the property, and if you're working for the seller, you want to get as much as possible for that home. And what you normally do, or in a case like this where they were holding offers, you print on the listing agreement, so when the public takes a look at the listing, they see that there's no offers until a certain date. It may be 5 days or 7 days ahead of when the listing originally came out. In the case that we read about in the newspaper, somebody came with a very large offer, a large certified check, and I guess in this case the seller decided that they were going to forget about what they'd already said and go ahead and take this offer because it looked so good.
Isn't that misleading the public?
Well, there's a fine line, and according to the article, it said that it wasn't contravening any rules or ethics. In my own opinion, I think that you're really operating on a slippery slope there. If you have something listed and the public is aware that there are no offers until a certain date, I think you have to stick with that. I'm not sure that even in this case, it really is that smart for the seller. I mean, I know when you have a large offer and it's right in front of you with a certified check, it's very tempting. But if there's one quote-unquote bully out there, there may be more.
What if the person making the offer said, you take this now or we don't have a deal? What would you do? Well, and it was well over the asking.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they said. Yeah. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I think at that point you really have to, when you actually do the listing, when you're sitting down with your real estate agent, you have to explore all the potential possibilities, including this one. And you have to make up your mind when you list the home for sale, what you're going to do if in the event that happens. My own personal belief is that if there's one person out there that's offering you this huge offer, you've already said that you're not going to take an offer for 4 or 5 days, there's more than likely many other people out there that are interested in the property, especially if somebody's willing to offer so much. I would wait that extra 2-3 days and see what develops.
But you may be walking away from a guaranteed, really great offer, and I think that's what made it difficult. What would be the responsibility of the other agents when it came to representing the other clients who were waiting the full 5 days? Would they be notified right away that an outstanding offer was being presented ahead of schedule, and what do you do?
Well, they would have to be. First of all, as the real estate agent, you'd have to get it in writing because you have to get in writing originally from the seller that they're going to wait to hold off offers. Yeah. You'd have to get an updated version of that letter saying you're going to take the offers now.
Well, it's time, isn't it?
As the listing agent, you have to notify all agents who showed the property, anyone who's expressed any interest in taking the offer. There's a lot of steps involved if you decide to jump the gun. I still think it's smarter if you're going to say that you're going to wait those 5 days to wait those 5 days.
Is it a sign of the times, Jim, that this kind of stuff does take place?
Well, you know, to be candid, we don't see that in new home sales because we have a set price. The policy is pretty
Do you
straightforward.
ever have multiple offers on a particular suite?
Not really. You know, where you might see that is when we've got the last few suites remaining in a community, and you know, there may be interest, you know, beyond the supply that we have. But suffice to say, for the most part, it's a set price. It's a pretty straightforward process in which to purchase.
But, you know, we talk about the great numbers, and is this one of the, maybe the not negative sides of a hot, healthy real estate market? Beyond healthy, it's hot.
Yeah. Well, where we see it, frankly, it's not so much in the scenario that we've just described that would happen in a resale environment, but a lineup of people trying to buy, you know, product first in.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've witnessed that ourselves in the recent past with new openings, and we continue to see that today in the Toronto marketplace.
But there's the 10-day cooling off period where
Yes.
people, when they settle down and go, oh, ooh, what have I done? Or this is great, one
Right.
way or the other.
Right.
In a situation where it's so hot and steamy that people are foregoing any kind of conditions, and they're just and they keep spending money, and they keep trying to up each other to get this prize. That's the negative side, some might say, about a real estate market like this.
Well, I guess it's I don't want to say common, but in a market where we have exceptional sales and certain areas that are hotter than hot, that's going to be a result of that kind of activity. And I really think it's important that when you do list your property, you do decide, because this is going to become more and more of an issue in certain locations. You know, somebody that wants a property and they feel they can jump the queue or jump the line by giving you a big offer, I'd really consider waiting, because if there's one person out there that's considering doing that, there are more than likely others. Are
you both and each finding that people are aghast at some of the prices that they're seeing for condos and for houses and new and resale out there?
In our sector, certainly there can be sticker shock, but what's really buffered it, what's really buffered it over time is that we've had gradual increases year over year. We've not had a new home sales market that's, you know, skyrocketed. So yeah, the numbers are getting up there, but it's been a gradual increase year over year.
And maybe there's even greater interest now because of that word interest. It seems, based on the statement that accompanied the Bank of Canada decision not to do anything with interest rates, that the next time they meet in July, that it seems almost a certainty that interest rates will go up. And I believe that mortgage rates went up this week regardless, because of what was going on in the bond market.
Yeah, we've had a couple raises in interest rates in the last week and a half. And from my own experience, it's really propelled people who were sitting on the fence to decide this is the time to get into the market. And I think they may be right. I think we've seen the end of reductions in interest rates. If you look at the other facets of the economy, the rising Canadian dollar and the resources in the western part of the country that are doing exceptionally well. So I think people are making the judgment that we've seen these low rates, it's hit bottom. I don't think we're going to be seeing steep increases in the prime rate or mortgage rates. But definitely, if you want to get in at the most attractive point, we've probably seen that, or we are seeing it right now.
And the picture of calm and cool over here, Jim Ritchie, what are your thoughts about it? It is. Your thoughts about mortgage rates?
Well, you know, mortgage rates, but more in particular interest rates, really what drive our industry. And certainly, you know, a few increases here and there are not going to put the brakes on what's going on in this marketplace. There's too many other things happening.
And there's such momentum, isn't there?
Yes, but clearly it's a very, very important indicator, and we're always clued into where that's going.
I guess the point is, you know, you look at where we're at mortgage rates that are 5, 5.25%, 5.5%. So even if they go up 0.5% or 1%, we're still looking at rates that are historically very, very low.
From a long time ago.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a break. We want to put some phone numbers up so that you can get to our experts within the GTA. 416-872-CP24. That's 2724. Toll free, 1-888-863-CP24. Send us a fax. We'd love to see that. 416-593-6397. If you're on the internet, you can send your email to hotproperty@citynews.ca. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're fat. You're ugly. You're flabby. You weigh a ton. Blimp, tubby, fatso, porky. You disgusting fat lazy pig.
I'm back. Finally. Where'd you go, Kansas?
Had tea with the Queen.
Funny. That's my black Italian silk.
You want a magnifying glass?
Oh, no marks. Looks like you didn't manage to ruin it.
My secret? I love to freak out my boss. My secret for not leaving white marks? Secret Platinum Clear Gel. Secret. Strong, like a woman.
Tonight, while you are sleeping, your tummy will be working, breathing, digesting, shrinking up to an inch, which could mean a gappy, leaky diaper. That's why new Pampers Baby Dry now has Caterpillar Flex to expand and contract to fit your tummy and help stop leaks better than before, to help you wake up dry. Baby Dry with new Caterpillar Flex.
Boss bottled the fragrance, and now the skincare range.
The Princess Margaret Hospital Lifestyles Lottery for Cancer Research is back. Watch your mailbox for your brochure featuring over 19,000 prizes, including the most exciting grand prize package we've ever offered.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that's wonderful.
He plays in those colors. He sleeps in those colors. Don't let them fade. Tide with bleach alternative with Color Clean. Visibly whiter whites and keeps colors bright. So your favorite whites and colors are true.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Tide knows fabrics best.
Welcome back to Hot Property. Dan and Jim are here, and I've got a couple of emails first. Let me begin with this one from Jose. I received a revised floor plan from my builder on a new condo that is currently being built. The plans have changed, and the unit appears to have decreased in size. The builder requires sign-off on the new plan, but what I have since learned from then is that I have lost 2.5% of the unit size overall. What is the maximum allowable percent a builder can change the plan by? I feel I should receive a refund per square foot lost. Is this a reasonable assumption? Jose, let's see if we've got an answer from Jim.
Well, the rule of thumb is about 2%.
Oh.
There is a bulletin from the Terran Warranty Corporation, and I'm trying to remember the exact parameters of it, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. She may be just a little bit out. If in fact there was a material change to the suite, maybe she has something to talk about. It sounds to me like she needs to have a discussion with her builder one-on-one. So it's just right on the borderline.
Yeah, that 0.5%. It would, and I guess at this stage, Tarion doesn't come into it fully because it's at the floor plan stage.
Right, but
as
you know,
mentioned.
the way we like to look at it, Anne, is, you know, some builders like to state a particular square footage and work towards it. Others don't get involved with square footage and really, you know, we're promising you a home that has a certain design and the dimensions of the rooms are this and they are that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're supposed to be delivering. Now, this is all drawn up on a piece of paper, although with a lot of engineering behind it, and we're trying to be as exact as possible. It's not always possible. Thickness of concrete walls, minor things change, site conditions will affect the home. Bottom line is that if somebody's bought a home that's under construction, they bought it at yesterday's prices. I'm sure that in terms of what's been going on in our marketplace, there's increased value in this home, and I'd think very carefully about, you know, walking away from it. Even though she's not suggesting that, she's looking for her rebate.
But I think that that's your perspective as a builder, but I think she's concerned that she's not getting what she thinks she paid for.
Right, right. Well, I think there's that 2% rule that you work within, and she's pretty close to it.
Well, it's 1,000 square feet, let's say. What would, you know, I can't do the math. I need my calculator, but what would that be? What would 2% be? A reduction of what?
I guess about 20 square feet or so.
20 square feet. And what would that be? About the size of a closet?
Could very
4
well
by
be.
5.
You're talking, 4 by 5. It's not, doesn't have a tremendous impact on a 1,000 square foot home.
But I think maybe it's just how she feels about this.
Right.
So should she, well, you say have a conversation with her builder?
She has to have that conversation.
Yeah, maybe there would be some other compensation that she might get an upgrade instead.
Unless there's something particularly contemplated in her agreement of purchase and sale, I'm sure this condition is covered in there. They should be looking there first and foremost.
Now, Jim, in the number of times that I bought new and you know, signed off on all sorts of papers, I can remember signing a diagram of my unit, and it actually had, and I had to initial it, had the square footage, and it had the dimensions. So isn't that kind of ironclad at that point?
It's pretty close, but you have to work with a little bit of latitude.
Okay.
You can't get it down to that last millimeter.
Okay.
We'll be very, very darn close.
Okay.
But you should note, some builders now don't put dimensions on those plans.
Yeah.
For life of me, I wouldn't sign the agreement that way, but they exist. They might tell you that the footage would be approximately 850 square feet, and there are no dimensions on that plan. I'd be concerned about that.
You know, also from the perspective of the room sizes that appear on the floor dimensions, it's very important not to just multiply each room and add them together and wonder why you're off by, in some cases, 20, 25%.
You keep trying to teach us that. So tell us what really the square footage really means.
The square footage is from the middle of the wall, of the exterior wall, and that encompasses the entire unit except for the balcony. So when it doesn't, you won't see measurements for bathroom sizes. You won't see measurements for hallways. You know, I've had many people who have said that they have a smaller square footage than what they thought they bought. I've rarely, if ever, I don't think I've ever had someone who said they got more square footage than what they bought. So I think it's really important to understand that your perspective on what the exact square footage is not always based on the exact room sizes and adding them up, because you'll never come up to that
I would
number.
point out that that description, that center of demising wall, the center of demising wall to the exterior face of the exterior wall, is set out by Terrion. So this is a regulated calculation that the industry in Ontario utilizes. It's not a guess that each developer comes up with.
So that's where Terrion backs this, but you can't go to them for help at this point.
Well, you can in terms of interpretation.
Okay.
I mean, they're always willing to talk
But
to you.
2.5%, if the rule is 2%, you know, that's so, gets so
it's a
gray.
rule of thumb, right?
And
it's a rule of thumb acting reasonably.
And again, there's something for everyone in this market. There's the new condos and there's the resale condos. When you're buying a resale condo, you can go in and see exactly what it is that you're getting. When you're buying off a model suite or plans, you have to have a bit of latitude in what you're going to expect.
So bottom line, what should Jose do?
Number one, look at her agreement of purchase and sale, understand the parameters. Number two, have a good discussion with her builder. And if that still doesn't work out, go and talk to the people at Terrion for some form of interpretation.
Got it. Sally's on the phone in Mississauga. Welcome to Hot Property, Sally.
Oh, hi.
Hi. What's your question?
Well, I live in Mississauga in a townhouse condo. And I'm looking for a property that doesn't have a condo suite. And actually, it would be most likely in the suburb of Toronto. And maybe I'm looking for Milton. I heard that Milton is growing.
Yes, it is.
And
so are the prices.
I wouldn't mind if I can get like a reasonable house, like I'm talking about freehold townhouse maybe, a few years old in Milton, and this way that I don't have to get stuck with the maintenance fees. And my budget will be around $200,000.
Now, does that exist, Dan? I know you know the market pretty well, and Jim as well. Does that exist in a place like Milton, which has had huge increases in the values of of that which is being built?
Yeah, you may be able to find something in the low 200s. I'm not sure if you're going to find anything under 200,000 anymore anywhere in the GTA. But if you can find something, and you know, a good way to start is by driving around the areas or looking around the area, speaking to an agent who's familiar with that area, maybe even writing down some phone numbers from signs that you see on some townhomes, giving the agent a call and finding out what the price is. That'll give you a pretty quick indication, and much faster even in many cases than going on the internet or looking in the newspapers. You can see the actual homes for sale and find out what they're selling for.
Now, in Sally's case, you know, we always say location, location, location. For her, it's seems budget as well as the desire to have freehold. What exactly is freehold?
Well, freehold is not a condominium. And, you know, I caution people when they think that by not paying maintenance fees, you're getting a better deal. A freehold condominium in structure is the same as a townhouse condo, except legally it's set up different. So you don't have those common elements that you're dealing with, but you're paying for them. You're now with your neighbors dealing with the exteriors, costs, they don't go away.
So those, your own roof and your exterior and your deck and anything else,
Right.
that's your responsibility?
You know, the great thing about the condominium model, of course, is that the exterior common elements are totally controlled. There's no issues as, you know, just whether somebody's going to change the color of the roof or do something with the brick. It's a much better and controlled environment. In the long run, I think you're better. There's no doubt you're not paying maintenance fees. You can put that money in your pocket now, but you better save some of it because you will have those capital costs down the road.
Or would an exact same townhouse, freehold versus condo, which would be more expensive?
The freehold.
Okay.
And the freehold will be more expensive just because people in general feel that when they own the property and own the land, there's added value to that. And I think there is. If you own the land, then you own the land, where you don't necessarily, or in most cases in a condominium. However, you're paying more, as you just suggested at the outset, and that's reflected in your mortgage payments as well.
Are you aware of any townhouse, freehold townhouses that are in her price range anywhere?
No.
Okay.
Actually, can I mention something?
Please do, Sally.
I did go for a drive in Milton with a friend.
Good.
And I actually did see some beautiful townhouses, brand new, and a freehold. They start from $245.
Okay.
So I think like a few years ago, actually, I think $245 that would get you a detached, not a townhouse.
Well, there's no question that prices have increased significantly.
And Milton really stood out in the most recent survey.
I think it was up 35% or something like that.
So you think I should keep looking around this area, maybe go to Burlington or...
Well, Burlington's expensive as well. I mean, that's a very individual decision for you to make where you're comfortable living. You might also want to look at what your costs are. You know, if you're comfortable in the $200,000 range and you're seeing something for $245, that's going to increase your monthly payment by maybe $200, $250. If that fits into your budget, you might want to consider that as an option.
Yes, I'm on my own, so I cannot afford it.
Yeah, well, of course, it's, you know...
Now, what if she was to look at resale?
Well, that's...
that may in fact be resale.
I'm not sure if it is or not, but that's a good place to start. And you'll very quickly, Sally, find out what the prices are in the areas that you're looking for.
Oh, boy, times have changed, haven't they?
They really have.
To Jolly in Brampton. Hi, Jolly.
Hello.
Hi, you're live on Hot Property.
No, I just want to know, are the prices will keep on going rising, or is there any future decline you can see? I can wait for a year or so.
Now, are you talking about mortgage rates, or are you talking about house prices?
Of real estate.
And he's talking up or down. Is there even an in-between where they just level out, Dan?
Well, I guess those are the three options.
Yeah.
You know, all we've seen so far is steadily increasing prices. There's nothing on the horizon to suggest that that's going to change anytime soon.
Jim, do they slow down in the rate that they increase?
We would have to see a complete stop in the marketplace in terms of new home sales. That's not going to happen. We continue to see cost pressures in construction. New land, you know, the deals that we're looking at today certainly are more expensive than they were, you know, just a few months ago. So I don't, and frankly, cost pressure is what's going to keep these prices going up. I don't see anything in the near future that would, you know, Jolly's talking about a year. I don't see it. I don't see prices coming down on that short term.
You know, for prices to decrease or to flatten out, we'd have to see a decrease in demand. Demand is really what's propelling this market, and it's demand not from investors or people looking to make a quick buck. It's demand from people looking for a place to live. And as long as that continues, as long as the city is growing and the economic fundamentals are so strong, I don't think we're going to see any change.
You know, Jolly, in the Greater Toronto area this year, we're going to see over 80,000 resales. We're going to see 40,000 new home sales, which includes condominium. Think about that. 120,000 new transactions in real estate in the Greater Toronto area. And that's pretty typical of what goes on here. So when you have that size of a marketplace, it's not going sideways or backwards.
Just to give you a quick idea, that is about double the market that we saw about 6-7 years ago.
All right. Well, people want to know if the end is near, and it doesn't look like it, according to you
Not
two
this
gentlemen.
week. Sorry
Not
about
this
that.
week. All right. Good to see you, Jim Ritchie.
Good to see you.
Tridell, thank you so much. And Dan Ellenberg, thank you always. We'll see you next week.
That was great.
Vince Gaetano, monstermortgage.ca, coming up next. Stay with us.
The pure start your baby deserves. Introducing My Organic Baby, Canada's first complete line of organic baby food. Purity makes sense. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart.
You need 60 cupcakes for tomorrow?
I'll help.
And here's more news.
We're introducing the new Best Bounty ever with thicker, thirstier quilts. It's our most absorbent yet. And it has cloth-like durability. So one sheet keeps working till the job's done. On tough butterscotch scrubs, Bounty holds up better when wet than the next leading regular two-ply.
Can we make more?
The new Bounty, the one sheet quicker picker-upper.
The value of gold is extremely high. Now is the time to cash in. Don't wait. Call 647-400-GOLD for the highest prices. Harold the Jewelry Buyer makes it easy to get the most cash for your unused jewelry. Courteous, confidential service is guaranteed. Free up some cash. Look in your jewelry cases. See what's inside your safety deposit boxes. Find your hidden wealth today. Call 647-400-GOLD or drop in for a free evaluation. Cash is king at the Jewelry Buyer, Bathurst Street, 2 Lights south of Lawrence.
Want to learn how you can get a radiant-looking glow, no sun required? City Line and Olay Touch of Sun will show you how, plus give you a chance to win $1,000 in shop cards. Watch City Line for 1 week in June and learn which Olay Touch of Sun product is right for you. Remember just one of the products, then hit the Olay Touch of Sun microsite at cityline.ca. You could win $1,000 in Cadillac Fairview shop cards and a supply of Olay products so you can glow from head to toe. From City Line and Olay Touch of Sun, love the skin you're in.
What do you get when an Always Ultra Pad and a wipe come together? Our cleanest protection ever. Always Clean helps you take that shower clean feeling anywhere. Have a happy period. Always.
If you missed Toronto's #1 morning show,
we got inundated with emails about whether or not I should get rid of the suspenders because I'm thinking of phasing them out. Oh, dear God, yes, in capitals.
Kevin, it's a trademark.
Kevin, there's a new invention. It's called a belt.
Well, yeah? It makes him look hot.
and on the next BT.
Direct from Cuba, we have got the world premiere from Vita.
Meet some of Canada's top teens.
And we've got bathing suits for all shapes and sizes.
Me and a Speedo.
Breakfast television weekdays at 6 a.m. Brought to you by Maxwell House. Make your house a Maxwell House.
Welcome back to Hot Property. It's always great to see Vince Gaetano from monstermortgage.ca. Not so great, though, what we saw this week. All the banks decided it was time to raise their mortgage rates. Why?
Well, let's first clarify. They raised their long-term rates, which is the 5, 7, 10-year terms.
You know those are my favorites.
Those are your favorites, but the Bank of Canada did not increase rates, which I'm proud to say I called.
You did call that, my friend. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people indicated that they were anticipating that Bank of Canada was going to go up, and I went out on a limb and said they were probably going to hold firm, and that did happen.
And that
so
limb didn't break, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And it's kind of interesting because they're still anticipating that the Bank of Canada will increase rates in July.
And they're even suggesting July.
But what's going to be interesting to see is what's happening in the States. I don't think the market has bottomed out yet. I still think we're going to see some negative numbers.
And how would that affect us?
Well, if the Fed in the States cuts prime, it's really going to make it hard for the Bank of Canada to increase rates up here because it'll be going in the opposite direction. And it's really going to hinge on what happens south of the border. Now, if the Fed south of the border doesn't do anything, we could see an increase with prime, but I still believe we'll be at the same level by the end of the year.
So the Fed meets next, and then we hear from the Bank of Canada in July.
Now, keep in mind, traditionally, long-term rates do go up at this time of year, and I expect that they probably will be lower at this in December from their levels today.
Do I see you out on a limb again?
Yes.
Are you stating here live on Hot Property?
I think we're going to see some slowing down the economy by the end of the year.
And that it means that we will see mortgage rates go back down, those that have gone up.
Possibly. So, the strong dollar has been a concern because it's really hampering the manufacturing sector. And if you start seeing some lost jobs on that segment of the market, it's going to be trouble.
Some experts are calling for a 96-cent U.S. dollar by the fall, and some are even going out on another limb and saying parity is possible.
I did hear that, but I also read an article this week that it indicated that we may be retreating back to an 84-cent dollar. So it's
down
kind of,
and then back up again.
Kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. I think David Dodge, he's been very calm and cool during this time, and you know, he hasn't touched prime since last August. So he's pretty patient.
So what do you say to people right now? The impression is that, and it is the reality, long-term rates have gone up incrementally. The prime didn't go up. So do you sort of move people into the variable area if they ask you your advice?
Well, it's always difficult to time the market, as we know, and you know, every statistic and study has shown that if you go short-term, being the variable, you'll always win the game in the long run. So I'm still a strong proponent of the variable rate. You could get one for as low as 5.1. There's even some rogue lenders offering 5.05, but you know, the prepayment terms and some of the features of the product aren't as flexible. So we do give our clients that option. But you know, that's a big difference now. The spread is back to where it should be between the fixed rates and the variable.
And what will you say to people if and when interest rates go up, perhaps in July? What happens then?
I would probably still suggest to stick with the variable because it'll still be lower than where the 5-year fixed rate is today.
You talk about timing the market. It's pretty hard, isn't it? It's pretty hard to time. And yet we want to, we really want to engage in this game, and it's the most expensive game some of us are ever going to play. It's our mortgages and our hard-earned money.
You're absolutely right, but it's also taking into account the budgeting of your finances, because the reality is if you lock in, you cannot predict where the market's going to be 5 years down the road from your renewal date. So you're going to be stuck in the same position of trying to figure out, well, what do I do come renewal time? With the variable, you do have the option to lock in at any time. You can monitor it. You know, although it is called a variable, it doesn't move as much as people think. The Bank of Canada meets at most 8 times a year. And as we've seen the past year, it hasn't moved at all. So there is some stability there, and I don't see significant fluctuations in the horizon.
To the phones we go, and Christine joins us from right here in Toronto. Hi, Christine. Bye, Christine. Ibrahim in St. Catharines. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
How are you doing? Good to hear from you.
Good to hear. Actually, I think he answered part of my question.
Well, ask it anyway. I'd love to hear your voice.
Which was either to go with variable or fixed rate. We are a first-time home buyer and been pre-approved already. And yeah, we're just wondering, should we go fixed or variable? But my other question was, do different banks have, what do you call that, percentage to pay back, like say in a year? Because my one bank, like we were allowed to pay back up to 10% of the loan we take in a year. Do different banks have?
That's a good question, because most banks offer a prepayment privilege, and they range from 10 up to 25% per year. So if you're looking for some flexibility, there are some lenders that are a little bit more aggressive in how much you could pay back to them per year. And the key is always to make sure that the prepayment privilege is based on the original mortgage amount and not the balance on the anniversary date, because it does make a difference. Because as you're repaying your mortgage, you're reducing the balance, and the balance is lower on each anniversary date.
And it's giving you less to be able to pay back.
Exactly. Whereas there are institutions out there that say you have a 20 or 25% prepayment of the original mortgage amount. So if it's $200,000, that's $40,000 or $50,000 per year. And what you also want to do is you want to make sure the lender gives you the flexibility to make the repayment at any time throughout the year, not just on the anniversary date. So if you can make partial repayments of minimum $100, for example, there's some lenders that are very flexible that you can make continuous repayments of minimum $100, and it cannot exceed that percentage amount throughout the year, which gives you flexibility. It goes directly to principal, reduces your interest costs significantly over time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abraham. What was your, just out of curiosity, what was your rate on your pre-approval?
5%.
Okay, you may want to take them up on that, because that's not available any longer. And if
I know,
you do buy,
yeah, and it expires in August.
Yeah, so you may want to run out there and buy a property and close.
Quick.
You're advising me to stick with the fixed and 5%?
Well, keep in mind that 5% isn't available anymore, so it's very valuable. So if you do buy, make sure that closing date before August 3rd, because you'll have to pay significantly higher if you if it expires. So
and actually, in my case, in our case, we are building, so it'll be ready in October. So
well, but you know what, Vince is predicting that long-term rates will go down by December. So the timing might.
I don't know if they'll go down as low as 5. What you may want to do is see if your lender can extend that rate to your closing date. Go in with a builder's letter, let them know that the closing date's been postponed, and try to beg to give you that 5% fixed rate. It's a good rate.
It is. So stick with 6 and 5, you mean?
if they could extend it to October, I'd take it and run.
Yeah, because originally we wanted to buy, but we end up building now.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you luck.
Okay, thank
Nice
you.
to hear from you, Abraham.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. We'll take a break here on Hot Property. We'll be right back.
Snowball was the runt of the litter, but you'd never know it by looking at her today. She's grown up to be a really big part of our family. Our vet, Dr. Jill, recommended Iams for a great start.
A love this strong deserves Iams nutrition. In fact, 7 out of 10 vets recommend Iams to help your dog live healthier, longer.
We're looking forward to many happy, healthy birthdays.
Iams, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Life's better on Iams.
A patented technology developed with dentists and backed by 10 years of research. Crest Pro Health is the first and only all-in-one toothpaste. With Crest clinically proven fluoride system and patented whitening technology combined to protect against all these areas dentists check most. Crest Pro Health. Healthy looking, beautiful smiles for life.
Boss Bottled, the fragrance. And now, the skincare range.
You know antioxidants are used in skincare, but do you know what they can do for your hair color? Find out. Try new Natural Instincts with antioxidants and vitamin C and E, and see how healthy hair color can look. Natural Instincts, new from Clairol.
Everyone's discovering the new scent from Gain.
こんにちは。専務、彼のシャツマンダリンとライムの香りがするんですが。
New Gain Mandarin Lime Fusion Detergent. The scent you'll love to squeeze.
Pascal Ribreau, Chef. Evelyn Gutenzi, Project Manager. Luca Lazy Legs Potuelli, B-Boy. Kay Leslie, Human Resources Specialist. We are all able. Open your mind. Brought to you by Canada's private broadcasters.
To the call.
Well, let's decide. Welcome back to Hot Property. Vince just said, should we do the email or go to calls? What would you like to do first,
Let's
Vince?
do the email. We haven't
All
gotten one in a while.
Let's do it. We get lots. I just happened to dig this one out. How about that? My husband and I bought a house on April the 23rd, 2007, 20% down payment, and paid 1% mortgage insurance. We would like to know when a federal law that lowers the level where mortgage insurance is required came into effect. If we are allowed to have a refund, what should we do? And this is from Christina in Mississauga.
Sounds like she just missed the boat.
Ooh.
Now, what I would suggest, because it was so close, I'd see if she could, I'd recommend her calling the lender and determining what they would be willing to do and speaking to the insurer and discussing the possibility of maybe helping her out. It seems like she missed it by a week or two.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because she did have the 20% down.
Right, she had to pay insurance on the 5%, but the new ruling is that it's 20% down.
That's correct.
And then you don't have to pay
So
anything.
that 1%, if she would have extended her closing date to today, for example, she wouldn't have paid it. So what I would do is, I'd inquire and maybe, you know how they say the greasy, or the squeaky wheel gets the oil?
So does the greasy wheel, I guess. Got the
It ends
oil.
up becoming the greasy wheel.
So you think that, and do you remember the date? Was it May?
You know,
we had Scott Galbraith from Genworth.
What was
here.
interesting is it was about a month ago,
Was
but
it? Okay.
then all the lenders had to get ready with their systems because their
Right.
systems weren't ready. So they all kind of, some aren't even offering it yet because their systems aren't prepared to move ahead. But the majority have slowly implemented the process.
So it might be a matter of just 7 or 14 days. And,
unfortunately,
and
yeah.
maybe if the lender values Christina and her husband as a customer, they will, you know.
We should probably hang on to this question for next week. I know Scott's going to be back, and maybe see if there's something that Genworth's doing in this situation, because
can she go back and change that? I mean, what if she's not?
I'm not sure.
If the insurer isn't Genworth.
What was interesting is I had a chance to speak with Peter Vukanovich of Genworth. He's the president over there, and he indicated that the market of the 20 to 25% down payment situation was roughly about 3% of the total portfolio. So it wasn't a significant portion of their book, and I'd be interested to see if they're doing anything for people that fell into that bucket a week or two before. It's worth asking.
It's a good question, absolutely.
I think it's really worth asking. Some people will work with consumers, even if it's a rebate of some kind. You never know.
Look good.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
So Christina, we will tackle this. If you think that Scott's going to be here next week, I'll hang on to this. And so Christina, if you're watching, do tune in next week, and we will make sure that Scott addresses this, and he might even be in touch with you. So
yeah, I guess it's one of those.
That would
tough
really
questions.
frustrate me. Just like, oh my gosh, timing is everything.
It sure is.
Let's go to the phones now, and Eleanor in Barrie. Hi, Eleanor.
Hi there.
Hi. How are things in Barrie?
Oh, great, thanks.
It's a great city.
We've got a house, and our mortgage comes due in January 08, and the interest rate right now is 4.84%. So we're thinking maybe of buying a condominium, but we were thinking of selling the house now and renting, for a couple of years, and then, moving into the condo kind of thing, so we could save some more money. But I'm just wondering, if we put the house up for sale, say, in the fall, and we have a closing date before January, do we have to pay a penalty on our mortgage? Because we'll have to pay off that mortgage.
Well, traditionally, you'd be charged a 3-month penalty. Now, an interest rate differential would not apply, because you're actually paying a lesser rate than what would be charged to a consumer today. So you're dealing with a 3-month interest. Now, if let's say you mature in January and you close in December,
right,
then you'd only have the penalty that's due to maturity, which would be a month.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you wouldn't be charged the full 3-month penalty. You'd only be charged the interest penalty to maturity.
So it's either 3 months or less if
exactly.
if the timing works
out. And what
out.
you want to do is you want to inquire about that and take advantage of your prepayment privilege, if you could, on a line of credit just before you pay it out, so you get an additional discount on your penalty.
You advised me to do that once, and it worked very well.
Yes.
So please explain how that works and give us a dollar figure. Let's use an example of what's left on a mortgage and how that actually works.
Okay. So let's say your mortgage is $200,000 and your prepayment privilege is 20%. Your prepayment amount that you can make per year is $40,000 per year.
Right.
So some lenders will grant you the discount off your penalty of 20%. Others will say, well, you need to make the prepayment the day before the penalty is calculated, so that it'll only apply to the $160,000 mortgage balance as opposed to the full $200,000.
So you pay less of a penalty.
Exactly.
Line of credit, take out $40,000. It's just for a short bit of time, so the interest is minimal.
It's minimal.
And then you get that money back once you've sold the place and everything is done.
That's right. So
and then you pay down that line of credit.
Get a cash advance on your line of credit or on your credit card to come up with that percentage amount, because you're going to save hundreds of dollars, and it's better in your pocket than the bank. Try to speak to the bank in advance to see if they'll give you a break. Tease them with the fact that you are buying something else in the future. You will go back to them, and maybe that's a way of negotiating your discount.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, it's a little loophole in the contract a lot of banks don't tell you about.
No, I never heard of that before.
Well, they're not at liberty to tell you how to save money. So.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you. It always feels good when you beat the system isn't quite the word, but if the less money you have to pay because you're already paying a lot in interest, principal, and whatnot.
There's some lenders that will automatically grant it to you. Okay, because they do believe that the prepayment privilege is there. It's priced accordingly.
The word privilege.
Why not pass it on?
Why do they use the word privilege?
Well, you got to keep in mind that they do have an offsetting investment on the other side.
Right.
So
they don't want you to pay it back too quickly, and that's why they set a ceiling of 10 or 15 or 20% per year.
That's right.
That's the hardest thing to understand, quite frankly.
Well, and I think that's why it's important to speak to a mortgage consultant that knows all the loopholes, because at the end of the day, you work hard for your money. Yeah. We pay taxes on it, so the disposable income isn't as much as what you earn on your gross amount.
That's for sure.
You know, we're paying our mortgages in Canada with after-tax dollars, and you want to save every nickel.
And we do, unlike the States, we can't write it off.
You can, unless you take advantage of a Smith maneuver type.
Oh, that Smith maneuver! My goodness, I get tired when I hear that one. Makes me. It sounds like a wrestling move. All right, we'll take a break here on Hot Property. We will be right back. Stay with us.
It's a fact. Most of us can use some extra cash.
I'm Harold, the jewelry buyer. I make it easy to convert your unused jewelry into cash.
That's right. Find your hidden wealth and take it to the jewelry buyer. Top prices are paid. Courteous, confidential service is guaranteed.
Gold and diamonds are the high value. Now is the time to cash in.
Drop in to our jewelry bank for a free evaluation. Cash is king at the jewelry buyer, the one you can trust. Bathurst Street, 2 Lights south of Lawrence.
Surround your family with something they'll love. Try Charmin Ultra Soft. It's our softest Charmin. It's so soft, you'll want more. But so absorbent, you can use less. You can use less because it's more absorbent than the regular kitten brand. It's our softest for sure. Less is even more. Try Charmin Ultra Soft. Best for bare bottoms. Charmin.
Imagine a breeze that can make you feel beautiful. Introducing Venus Breeze, the only razor with built-in shave gel bars. Experience how it effortlessly glides, releasing a light lather, so there's no need for shave cream. Discover how Venus Breeze flexes to closely fit your curves, leaving skin silky smooth. Now every woman can breeze through her day, feeling beautiful. New Venus Breeze. Reveal the goddess in you.
Want to make your home feel noticeably fresh? Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. First, put away those other freshening products. Then, for the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Many of the surfaces in your home are soft surfaces that can hold on to odors. Febreze finds those odors and cleans them away as it dries. Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge to eliminate odors and freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Go ahead, spray on, freshness lovers, spray on.
Monday on City News at 6.
You ready? Yeah. A pregnant woman, a packed streetcar. Who gave up their seat, who didn't, and why? I think the guilt just got to them.
Out of the newsroom, on the street, City News everywhere.
We're looking to you to break the next big web story. I'm new media specialist Amber MacArthur. Email me your stories, your photos, your blog. ambermac@citynews.ca, and we'll make sure to link back to you.
Welcome back to Hot Property. Welcome back, Vince Gaetano, monstermortgage.ca, and Anjou from Mississauga. Hi, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing, and what is your question?
Okay, we have booked a property in Milton.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are going through a buyer, but my mortgage on this property, which we are staying at, it gets over in 2008, May.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, June, sorry. So what happens is, but I get the house in May. Oh, so I have 1 month's difference till I get a new property, and my mortgage gets over in June.
So are you going to, it's finished, or are you going to port the mortgage?
I don't know. That's what my question is. What do I do?
And most lenders have a portability clause in the current mortgages in the last 7 or 8 years, so your mortgage probably has that clause in it. And if there is a delay of 60 to 90 days between transactions, there is a period where the lender will say, as long as you have a valid offer to purchase another property, they will port the mortgage in kind to the new property for the remaining term that's on the mortgage.
Any penalties surrounding that?
Yes, that's what.
There's usually a nominal transfer cost of $150 or so, but it could be negotiated. They're very, very soft costs.
What if the mortgage in the new place is less or much more?
No.
Do you need more money or less?
No, I need less money than that. But
Okay,
my question is that when we are going for the new mortgage, what if the builder extends? You know how they say in the contract that the new house could be extended for 120 days or whatever. So what happens at interim time?
Well, these things can happen. So you're absolutely right in bringing this issue up. What I would suggest is bring this to the attention of the lender and see if they can extend that clause period to assist you in your dilemma. Because if it does happen, you're dealing with it now as opposed to at crunch time. So try to get all those issues solved in advance, because if you're dealing with them today, you know what your situation is once it happens. I always tell people, be informed, know your position, know your options so that you could deal with them in a more sensible manner than having to make decisions under the gun.
That can be true in any aspect of life. Very quickly before we say goodbye, there's a great fundraiser coming up a week Sunday, and
Yes.
it's the 10th of June. We've got about 10 seconds.
It's the Monster Mortgage 5K Toronto Challenge. We're really excited about it on June 10th, 9:30, Metro Hall. Doug's going to be, Doug
Gilmore
is going to be the Grand Marshal, and he'll be running in it and meeting a lot of people, having fun.
And the money raised is for a terrific cause, and I appreciate that.
It's the Toronto Home for the Aged, so it helps out the community services of Toronto, and we're really excited to be part of it. This is our 3rd year, and we're proud.
Can people contact you? The number and the website's on the screen right now. How would they get pledge forms and more information?
I believe it's at the City of Toronto website. www.toronto.ca/challenge.
Okay.
And there's a lot of information there.
Thank you very much, Vince.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you, and thank you for watching this edition of Hot Property. See you next week.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you very much.
Hot Property is brought to you by monstermortgage.ca. Take the fear out of financing. Daniel Ellenberg, Toronto's real estate expert. And Tridel, built for life.
The sky is perfect blue, no cloud could spoil the view. It's a sign from above that shows that we're in love. All the birds and the bees are flying in the trees. It's a sign from above that shows that we're in love.
Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. Today is where your book begins.
Let yourself shine. Discover the new attitude of Pantene.
What's up, baby?
You need to upgrade. Come on, upgrade.
Still haven't upgraded to Tampax Pearl? With 3 fabulous details, it's our best protection ever.
Now that's an upgrade.
I'm back.
Finally. Where'd you go, Kansas?
Had tea with the Queen.
Funny. That's my black Italian silk.
Want a magnifying glass?
No marks. Looks like you didn't manage to ruin it.
My secret? I love to freak out my boss. My secret for not leaving white marks? Secret Platinum Clear Gel. Secret. Strong, like a woman.
Feel exhilarating warmth. Feel a cleansing, purifying skin. Your pores will say, ah, with new Olay warming cleansers.
If you missed Toronto's #1 morning show,
We got inundated with emails about whether or not I should get rid of the suspenders because I'm thinking of phasing them out. Oh, dear God, yes, in capitals.
Kevin, it's a trademark.
Kevin, there's a new invention. It's called a belt.
Well, yeah? It makes him look hot.
and on the next BT.
Direct from Cuba, we have got the world premiere from Vita.
Meet some of Canada's top teens.
And we've got bathing suits for all shapes and sizes.
Me and a Speedo.
Breakfast television weekdays at 6 a.m. Brought to you by Maxwell House. Make your house a Maxwell House. Monday on City News at 6.
You ready? Yeah. A pregnant woman, a packed streetcar. Who gave up their seat, who didn't, and why? I think the guilt just got to them.
Out of the newsroom, on the street, City News everywhere.
News continues here on CP24. I'm Pam Seidel. Here's what's making news right now. Toronto.
One city, one source. Toronto's News, CP24.
Good morning. You're watching CP24.